You guys, we're building in the MONTECH Sky 2 today, and I absolutely love MONTECH. I'm obsessed with them. I think all of their cases have an amazing price point and are very aesthetically pleasing. So today, in this build video, it's going to be a raw PC build with very minimal edits and cuts. So I hope you guys are excited, and let's get right into it. All right, guys, to start this build, let's rip into this box right here with the MONTECH Sky 2 and see this beautiful PC case. Now, this is not a dual chamber case, which I most of the time do prefer dual chamber cases, but regardless, I love MONTECH, and I'm still very excited to build in this case. Get on out. It's looking beautiful. Very beautiful. Really unique case, you guys. I think it's super unique, especially that they put their power button and all that stuff right on the top, and all their USB connections on top. It's kind of cool. Flip it around here so you guys can get a good look. And then let's move on to our motherboard. All right, we're building in the MSI B550 Gaming Gen 3 motherboard, which is pretty sweet. It's going to work very well with our Ryzen 7 5800X. Nice. Looking very nice, you guys. Awesome. And we're not going to grab anything from the box quite just yet. We're just going to close it, set our motherboard right on top here. You got some T-Force RAM here, DDR4 Vulcan. Let's see, running at 3600 megahertz, which is cool. You guys, I'm a huge fan of MSI's motherboards also. I've ran into very, very little issues with their motherboards over the few years I've been building with them. I've used quite a few companies, but I definitely run into the least amount of issues, I feel like, with MSI. Yeah, nice looking DDR4 sticks too. They look pretty dang good. We got one out. Let's get our second one. And you guys, I'm sure a lot of you already know, but if you're running 2 sticks of RAM, you want to place it in the 2nd and 4th slot. I still see build videos where people line it up on number 1 and 2. Pretty common mistake. We're going the 2nd and the 4th. We'll clip down our pins. We'll line up the divot in the bottom right here. We're going to line this up with the same divot right on the motherboard. Looks good. Click it in. It's nice and easy, you guys. Now, a lot of RAM sticks, you do have to use a good amount of force, but make sure you're using 2 hands and you stabilize everything before you start pressing down, because we've all seen those super cringy videos where people will snap their RAM. It's not very fun. And the next step here, we're going to line up the corner on the CPU to the top left corner of the motherboard here. And we're just going to set that in nice and easy. Come on, baby. There we go. And close this. And now we're all set there, so we can move on to the SSD. There we go. Get that flat. Use our nice magnetic screwdriver right here to grab the bolt. Nice. Alright guys, now that we have our motherboard completely prepped, let's go ahead and break into this case and check it out. Very beautiful case. I absolutely love it. I believe we just have pop on the other side. Hmm. There we go. Slides out a tad bit. Set this to the side, keep it safe. Yeah, and what's awesome about this guy too, case also, you guys, is the pre-installed fans. You are always saving money when you go with MONTECH. Get their pre-installed fans, and I've had very good experience with their fans too. Yeah, especially the RGB software. You'll see a lot of RGB software, like fans, the nodes will break on them over time and stuff. So yeah, and then we have another fan to give us, which is pretty dang sweet. And it looks like they say to set this right on the bottom for your GPU, which does make a lot of sense. So yeah, they say to set it right down there, which will work. We'll just have to daisy chain it into the system. All right, you guys, let's lay this bad boy flat. And let's place our mobo in the case. Let me just check the back of the case real quick too, just to see if they have anything in the back. On bottom I need to check out. Yes. And then all of these are a little slide, and then they pop out. Yep. They slide, and then they pull out. Nice. Love the hub too, which is amazing. We got our box here and a little manual. All right, so let's pop this open because this is where our motherboard screws are going to be. Nice. Everything we need right there. They even give us a couple of zip ties and their own Velcro straps, which is pretty cool. Get our motherboard right here. Get all those bolts. And let's put this bad boy in there. All right. Now, EATX, we have all our standoffs, which is nice. Line up all of them. I'll get over there. There we go. Everything sits perfect. If I want to tuck that wire definitely a bit more, that would be nice. Stick the screws. Let's start going to town, screwing this bad boy in. Gosh, you guys, I love magnetic screwdriver heads. They are a must for me, you guys, a must. Especially, it's no fun when you drop a screw in somewhere that's like nearly impossible to pull out. Oh, dropped one right there, but that wasn't too bad. Now look at, as I'm talking about it, I keep dropping them. Stay on there. Nice. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure we get all of them in and we don't miss any of them. Especially because, you know, you want to fill all the holes in your system, make it look clean. I feel like I see a lot of, you know, janky custom built computers sold on Marketplace and they're missing screws, bolts everywhere. There's, you know, their fans are cut to fit their RAM because their RAM clearance wasn't good. And just all of these just not good things. You guys don't want to start creating those bad habits for all your builds. That is not smart either. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe is our last screw. There we go. Put our 3 extras I grabbed back in. Perfect. Go set these back in our motherboard, or we'll put them in our screw cup right here. We'll come back for them later. All right, you guys. So now motherboard is in. We're gonna move on to connecting our fan and all of our cables to our motherboard before we go any further, before we even install the power supply. So let's flip this around. I'll try to have a good angle for you guys on this. Cable management's looking pretty decent coming out the box. Ooh. Take out all these bad boys, take off the zip tie. All right, so this should be our audio, F panel, everything in between. Yes, our USB for all the buttons on the case. Our fan hub. I believe there's also a SATA cable in here, and then our RGB, which is not. This is I believe going into the motherboard too. So you can have your motherboard control all your RGB and control the controller up here too. So yeah, got all that undone. We actually can leave their cable management job how it is, which is a huge plus. And then we're just going to grab the F panel, audio, the USB, and our last cable here. Blanket on that one. All right, so in this case, they're going to feed up right in front of the motherboard. We want these two to not go on the first slot. We're going to move them, push them up on the left. And I'll show you guys how I fed them through before we boot it on. Yes. And put this one on this side. Thank you for staying up. And put this one on this side. All right. All our cables are through where we want them. Hopefully that one doesn't fall. Doesn't look like it will. And it did. That's fine. Flip this thing back around. Go ahead and move on to our power supply next. I found Corsair to be super reliable with their power supplies also. They tend to last a long time. Looking snazzy, Corsair. Looking snazzy. Great packaging. Now what we're going to do also with the power supply is install all of the cables before we put it in the case. All right, so we're gonna grab our CPU cable. We are using a 2070. So let's see. Here's our motherboard cable right here. And we need a 4 and a 6 pin. For our GPU. Yes. We need 1 and we need 2. Oh, that's our CPU. Here's our SATA cable. Gonna need that. CPU. So yeah, I guess we just have these two PCIe lanes. One with a daisy chain and one without one. All right, starting out with the motherboard cable. All right, you guys, so this is the end, the split end that you will put into power supply. We got motherboard right on the top here. Slide both of them in partially, then clip them in together. Nice. Now, go for our CPU. Throw it on the far left. And then SATA and our power supply cables for our GPU. Oh, SATA cable. Any SATA or PATA plug-in works. And we got 2 GPU cables. This is our 6-pin. And this will be our 8-pin. Perfect. And we're gonna take this hunkin' fun mess right here, throw it in the back of our case. We're gonna flip the case this way, so it's a little easier for you guys to see. We're gonna come around to this side. All right. So we're gonna slide it in to the right here, get all of our cables out of the way. Come on, get in there. Make sure the fan is on the bottom, you guys, also. Not want it on the top. Nice. Line up everything. Now we're going to screw it in first. Keep it stable while we're yanking on our cables. We've got for our PSU right here. Just quickly screw these bad boys in. Nice. And they're on. All right. So now we're going to be feeding our GPU cables through the front here. Turn it this way. Grab our 6-pin, grab our 8-pin that we're going to be using. We're going to nicely feed them through. You know what? First off, too, we're actually going to take out the SSD holder. So, put this case flat. And if you take a look right here, you guys, there's one small bolt in here that we need to take out, but it's very tough to fit a screwdriver in here. So there we go. Popped it out finally. Pretty sure it's still cross-threaded in here too. I couldn't even get it out. Oh well. So we'll set this back in the case in case someone wants to use it later. Alright. Now you can see both of our GPU cables. You can easily feed through right here. It's very hard to see on camera. Pretty nice looking cables from Corsair too. Yeah, get these through there. We can get our SATA cable right here connected to any one of the ports on the SATA cable connector and the power supply. I'm actually going to choose the last one so that the cables can be out of the way easier. Put that in. Bring our CPU. It actually looked like we fed one of our CPU cables through here. Which one? Where's this one? Ooh. Looks like it'll be better if I actually feed this cable through here. We'll put it in. We'll also do that with our SATA. Now bring around this one. Put it through. All right. And motherboard, which we are also going to push right up through here. Do the bottom one. All right. I believe everything should be looking perfect. All right, I see. I see now. So yeah, we got everything where it needs to be. Let's take this, feed it back to the top. We're gonna Velcro this really quick, just so it stops falling down. Nice. We'll clean this up more in a minute. All right, you guys, now that we have the motherboard in the case, we are going to go ahead and start plugging in all the case cables here. And I'm going to zoom in to show you guys exactly which pin connectors you're going to be plugging in all your case cables into. And let's go ahead and do that now. Nice focus on here. All right, so our first one is going to be our HD audio on the left here. We're going to plug it into the far left header, which is missing the fourth pin over on the top. Now, when plugging these in, you guys, you never want to force them too hard. And some of them have pretty awkward angles, especially if you have bigger hands. But that is in, and then next to it here, we have our fan. So we're going to plug this into system fan. We'll go system fan 2 right next to it over here. Got that one in. We got our USB 3.0. Plug that in. And we got our F panel for all the buttons on our case, which goes on the far right. And get that in. All right, and there we have it, you guys. We have our motherboard completely plugged in. Now, you guys might be asking, where's the USB 4 header for the Type C on the case? Unfortunately, this Gen 3 motherboard does not have one. So the Type C up top will not be usable, but that is totally fine. So now we're going to move on to installing the AIO. We're also going to take off our brackets right here really quick too. But first we're going to lay down the case flat. All right, you guys, now that we have the old ones off, I'll show you we have our little rubber standoff, and then we have our screw, and then we also have our brackets for our Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 that say left and right, and we're going to place it with the rubber piece through, and then feed the bolt through here, right out the other side, and into the screw down here. We'll just feed it with our fingers, and it's in. So yeah, that is the orientation for the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3, you guys. Now, all we need to do, set these right down for the bottom bolt. Perfect. Come on. Nice. Set this one on top. Oh, no. Come back. So yeah, guys, the nerve-wracking part is coming up with the Liquid Freezer 3. I will show you guys, but it can be a little tricky on installation. Got that side down. That side. Double check all the bolts. They're looking perfect. Nice. All right. So I like to turn my case sideways during the AIO installation. We're going to take all our old bolts and everything, and we'll put them in with our Arctic cooler box. So now let's turn this puppy sideways. Get you guys a better angle. And we're going to pop off the top here. Now, all these panels in this MONTECH case seem to have a slide and then pop off mechanism. I kind of like. So that way, right when you unscrew your stuff, it doesn't fall off, which would be very scary with a glass panel. All right, so we already took the standoff out of our Arctic Liquid Freezer 3. So now we're going to install this puppy. Very cool is the Liquid Freezer 3 will actually come with pre-installed fans too. Another huge plus. We got our pump. And we got the beautiful radiator. Just looking lovely. All right, now the orientation, we're going to be on the top here. So we're just going to set it in the case. Line it up top. I think I want to pull it all the way to the end. Maybe we'll pull it all the way to this side. Just to hide these cables a little bit more. I think that's going to be the move. I think that will actually be perfect. Because then we can kind of tuck these. They're a little more hidden. I think that looks really good. So yeah, we're going to go on the far side of the case here. Which I think is going to look great. You know what? I see. Well, we are having clearance issues right up here, which when our buddy ordered this rig, it did not say anything about having clearance issues. But we're going to have to go on this far end, and then we're not going to be able to use all our screws. But let's see how good we can make it work. We got our screws. Now, I'm not going to use the rubber gaskets just because already cutting it close on the fitment we have. But let's see if we can make this work. All right. Normally, I would definitely like to maybe return this and have better fitment, but I'm totally fine with how it's hooking up. You won't see it that it's crooked at all, so I am fine with that. And that is all the bolts we can fit in the top, which is fine. I'm fine with that. No biggie. All right, you guys, now on to everybody's favorite part, the thermal paste. All right, and we got the wonderful Arctic MX6, which is great. Now, you guys, I like to do something a little weird when I install my thermal paste. What I like to do is I like to get a little piece of plastic, to put over my finger like this. And then use this to spread the thermal paste, just because I do not have a little scraper tool. All right, you guys, let's throw on our thermal paste. Daub in the middle, one on the corner. And there we go, you guys. All right, you guys, looking pretty good. Just another daub for safe measure in the middle. All right, everything's brushed on nice and smooth. Now, you guys will see in a minute why I put a little extra little dollop in the center, and that's because I don't want to create any dead spots when we are in putting on this cooler, because what will happen is this cooler is pretty tough, you guys. You can see a lot of YouTubers really struggle to put this cooler on. So yeah, hopefully for us today, it's going to be very easy. So yeah, wish me luck, you guys, because we are going to need it. So I'm going to try and get a good angle for you guys. That looks nice. So what happens is these bolts on the corner end up being really hard to screw in for some reason. Hopefully in this scenario, it's going to be a little easier for us. Cross our fingers, you guys. Now the trick is to slightly get one side in. See, that's what I'm talking about. See how it's just tough? It'll pull back off on you guys. But the trick is to get one side in. And this hopefully make this other side a lot easier. But we tighten this side down too tight. So we gotta loosen it. Hopefully don't break thread. I gotta press this side down. Bleed up a little more to get it lined. Right there is looking good. Okay. See what I'm saying, you guys? This thing really likes to make you struggle for it. So let's line it up again. Oh, and we lost our thread. Come on. Find the thread. Find it. I think we found it, y'all. Finally. We're in. I believe no, we weren't in. We were only in on one side. Holy Nikes, y'all. Okay. Oh, that was it, y'all. Finally. So as you can see, that took a good, 10 minutes. That's just how this cooler is, honestly. You can see a lot of people tend to spend a lot of time struggling. Let's get out a little fan. Pretty little fan. Beautiful. Fake fan. Alright, and right in the bottom here, these 3 little pins line up with this. And we also have our WPM connector, which we're going to use the all-in-one connector, which is great. That way you don't have to plug in multiple. We're going to use CPU fan. Actually, pump fan VRM. pump, and yeah. Plug it right into the CPU fan. And right into our CPU fan it goes. And now we can try to hide these cables a tad bit under the brackets, which I think will look solid. And get them all tucked under. And on goes. Nice. There we are, you guys. Just got our CPU fan plugged in. Gosh dang, this cable's long. We're gonna actually try to tuck it right up here behind the radiator. It'll look super good. Nice, you guys. And plug in our CPU. I'm gonna plug this, flap this thing back up. See how she looks. See how she looks, y'all. All right, you guys. Now let's plug in our motherboard right here. I want the pin on the outside, so we're going to try and pull it this direction. Line it up. Clicked in for me. Wonderful. And now, before we plug in our GPU, we need to get some fans for the power supply and to help the graphics card stay cool. Now we're going to slide both these back and down here. Pull these through to the back. And now take our fan screws. Finally found them. Just screw in from the top. We could have done this from the bottom beforehand, but that's totally fine. I don't mind the screws being up top at all. The screws in very nice and smooth. Drop our last one in. Nice. God, I love electric screwdrivers, you guys. They are wonderful. All right, y'all. Now, might as well throw it back on the top of the case. Slides in. A little screw. We're going to take our graphics card, this Asus 2070. We're going to pop back our little pin here. Let me get a closer look for you guys. All right, guys. So now we're going to line up our VGA pins to the ones on the motherboard. Oh, first, how goofy of me. We need to take out all our panels. So now we are all prepared to slot in the graphics card. The Asus 2070 looks pretty nice. A big heat sink. It looks good. Lined up. Let's listen to the click. Nice. Now, let's take our two separate power supply cables, our 8-pin, and then our separate 6-pin. So, put this one on the left here, and this one can go on the right. We'll flip on it. Line her up. Clip her in. Now we only need a 3-pin for this one. Clipped her in. Tuck these bad boys back down here best we can. That looks pretty dang clean. I like it. All right, you guys. So, build is looking decent. Build is looking decent for sure. All right, and there we go, you guys. This is the finished build in the MONTECH Sky 2 case with the Arctic Liquid Freezer 3, a Ryzen 7 5800X, and a 2080 Super. We also used a Corsair 750 watt power supply and some T-Force 3600 DDR4 RAM. Now this build came out looking absolutely amazing. We'll get all these beautiful shots here for you guys. Love building in this case. Everything about it was super fun, and I think the finished product turned out looking absolutely amazing. So I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to subscribe and have a great day.